Hello, my family. Today we're going in the kitchen and we're doing a complete Mediterranean dish. Um, Only it's going to be different. I have tried to make pita using fresh milled flour, and I have a hard time getting that pop up. So I am actually going to try something new today. I went and got my Azure order came in 2 days ago, and I picked up, let's see, what was it? It's an artesian organic flour. The difference is it doesn't have all the nutrients and vitamins as my fresh milled does, and it does not have the brand. So I worry about it spiking my husband's sugar. However, I have also learned, and this may help you, for those of you who are not fresh milling, wondered what you can do. Now, this recipe, you can use all-purpose flour to follow me with it. It's going to be kind of the same thing. So you don't have to have the artesian baking flour like I'm fixing to have. But one thing you want to do is make sure you pair a bread source like this with a nice fiber. Fiber will help break down and slow down the process of a spike in your food. So what we're having tonight is chicken swarma. I can use hummus to break down and cause the flour to not spike my husband so badly, on top of the lemon that is in the mix. So between these two, they can help slow down the process of a sugar spike. Does that mean it's going to be completely low? No, it doesn't. I'm really hoping this will work for him. We'll have to see, mixed with his medication. But for those of you who are already in the point as you're not fresh milling, today is a recipe that you can do, and then hopefully these tips and tricks will help you slow down spikes in your food. So we are going in the kitchen, and I'm going to do everything from scratch, from our pita to the chicken to make chicken swarma. Now we're going to start with that. I went and purchased some chicken thighs, and there was a difference, and I'm going to teach you how to do this as well. I needed skinless, boneless chicken thighs. Now I looked at the price for the same amount. There was like 10 pieces of thighs for almost $15 for the pack, y'all. Or I could have got the same amount, 10 chicken thighs, for a little over $8. I think it was $8.03. Now the difference between the two is one was skinless and boneless, which was almost $15, and one was fully skinned and boned. I purchased the one that was skinned and boned and decided to not pay the butcher to do that for me, and I brought it home, and I'm going to do it myself. And we are going to do that because this shawarma mix is going to have to sit in the fridge marinating for a couple hours while we make our pita bread. Now the process it's going to be cooked is going to be a lot different too, because we're going to try to compact it a little bit, and we're going to use a bread pan to do that. Until tomorrow, I have what's called a grill spit, and what it is, it's a pan with a spike in the center of it. And I will have 3 different sizes, 8, 10, and 12 spike lengths. So I can actually put a whole chicken on this spit and have it dripping into the pan and into my oven or my grill. It was very inexpensive, and it is highly useful. If I had that spit, it would probably be going in my oven instead, taking my chicken and putting it on top of each other like a tower. And it's another way that I can make gyro meat the same way and make it myself. So we're going to be doing some different areas with that spit to show you how it's done. It'll be here tomorrow. In the meantime, I have to figure out a way to compact for my shawarma, and I'm going to show you how to do that. So I hope you're ready to get dirty in the kitchen, y'all, because we are fixing to make chicken shawarma, Mediterranean style, and this is going to be yummy. Let's get started. Alright, y'all, so we are going to take chicken thighs. The reason we're using thighs, you would think we would be using the breast. Only thing about the chicken breast is at a certain point it can actually turn dry. The thigh in the Mediterranean world is the most dominant used chicken part around because its flavor is a little bit more richer and it holds moisture a lot better. So it's really hard to dry out. You can actually reheat it and it doesn't really dry out. The breast is super delicate. So we use the thigh most. Now, again, I'm going to show you how to deskin this and debone this. But before I do, I got to give a shout out to Miss Victoria. I received the most amazing gift yesterday that I love. I love this. Thank you so much. And it's actually a Preserving Italy cookbook. It's got about 150 different recipes from making citrus salt to citrus or lemon olive oil, which, oh my God, can you imagine having a lemon olive oil over a salad or chicken or fish, or let alone sprinkling with some lemon salt? Or there's even a recipe of making lemon silo, which is my beautiful Italian shot of lemon liquor. Just a little bit. I don't drink it a whole lot, y'all. It stays in my freezer most often. But they have so many different things, from vinegars, oils, preserving, even the authentic recipe on making tomato sauce using the anchovies that we went through. So thank you, Miss Victoria. This goes with the rest of my Italian books that I have and my Mediterranean books. This was super cool. So thank you very much. Now, y'all, let's get back to work because we got a lot of work to do. I'm going to actually start with the chicken first because it's going to have to sit in the fridge to marinate. While it's marinating, we are going to be making pita. So let's get started. We got a lot of work to do. Before I do, y'all, I do got to do one other thing to show you too. I am super, super, super excited about this beautiful sourdough. I fed it this morning. Man, it is rich, it's bubbly. It's now reached its peak and dropping. I am getting ready to make sourdough bread using the artiste flour as well. I want to see if it makes a difference and not so dense. I love fresh milk, don't get me wrong. I am actually going to be having some fresh milled hamburger buns tomorrow. We're having dinner with friends of ours. The problem is with very delicate breads like pita and sourdough, sometimes the brand can be heavy, which would make our breads a bit dense. So with that, I am literally going to try using the artiste flour, the same flour that this sourdough mix starter is made out of, and see how this works. I can't wait to try it because that is coming up very, very soon, y'all. And if you are like me and have on the side some Caputo Italian flour, you can use that in this recipe that we're going to be working with very soon. So just thought I'd tell you. I'm going to take this baby off my counter because I don't want to disturb it much, and I want to let it do its thing. And we're going to set it aside and let's start with this chicken. Okay, y'all, so we are going to start, and like I said, I could have went and paid for this, y'all, but why would I want to pay double when I could do it myself? So peeling off the skin of a thigh is super easy, honestly. You do want to leave some of that fat on it though, because that fat is bringing the juices into it. So you're just wanting to take the skin off, not so much that fat. So you're just going to go through here, graze it off, and that's it. I mean, leave that fat on there. So now we got our bone right here. And I'm going to just take my knife right across the middle of this bone. And I'm just going to graze this meat that's against it and pull it back away from it. This is one of the easiest debonings you're ever going to do, honestly. So I'm just going to keep doing this until I get it pulled away. I don't know if you can see what I'm doing here, but just follow that grazing on that bone, y'all. Go up under it. Make sure you get there. Scrape down your meat so you're not wasting any of your meat. Just like so. And that's it. There's my bone. And there's my boneless chicken thigh right there. So I do notice that there's some gristle right here, so you want to cut this out. Make sure all of this is out of your way so you don't have that. Make sure there's none in on this side. Looks to be okay, and that's it. I have three more pieces to do of this. So we're going to go ahead and finish that, and we'll be right back. It's that simple, y'all. I mean, and I saved a half. I could have actually got 2 packs of chicken for the price of what I just paid for, that I would have paid for to have somebody do this for me. So I think I'd take the 2 packs of chicken and save it and do it myself. So we'll be back. Okay, y'all. So now we're going to make our marinade for this. And I'm actually using, I've already pre-mixed some swarma mix, but I'll give you the recipe for this, and it is a really good flavor. So to make this recipe, you're going to need, I had actually 5 pieces of thigh that I used, so you can use 6 to 8 if you wanted to, but 5 will work with the same recipe. You'll need 3/4 tablespoons of cumin, coriander, Spanish or sweet paprika, garlic powder, and turmeric. And then you need a 1/2 teaspoon of ground clove and a 1/2 teaspoon of cayenne pepper. Now I realized I forgot to, I went and made a new batch, so I doubled my recipe, so I need to go get some garlic powder in this, and I will be right back to show you how to make this marinade, because it's got to refrigerate at least an hour or 2. Okay, y'all, so basically this recipe makes about 1/4 cup of spice mix, and so that's what I'm actually going to do right here, is just add my spice mix to this. I'll go ahead and refill it if I need to, but I like to keep the whole blend on hand, so you can do the same thing. I'll put the recipe for that spice mix in the description for you to write it down for later use. Now in here we're going to need 1 juicy lemon. If you don't have enough, you're going to have to add 2 whole lemons, and then we're going to add just enough olive oil to make a nice type of saucy paste to cover our chicken thighs. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to roll this to where I can get the most juice out of my lemons as possible without busting them, y'all. Now I'm going to cut them in half, and I'm going to squeeze the juice right out of my lemons. Now I have a cut on my thumb, so I definitely don't want to do this by my hand, so we will be doing it like this. Oh, this is going to work for me. All I need is this one, because this is a very juicy lemon. I like this. Put that out. Do this next one here. Oh yeah, this is beautiful. This is going to make our chicken nice and tender. The lemon juice just has a way of tenderizing our meats, and it adds beautiful flavoring. Okay, so that's the end of this one. Be right with y'all in just a second. Now I'm going to whisk this, and we're going to add our olive oil in here while we're whisking it. We don't want to make this super soupy, y'all. So we're just going to, I'm going to say this is going to be a couple tablespoons of olive oil in here. Mix this up. There's a beautiful shimmer. Alright, we're just going to mix this up like this. Oh yeah, nice sauce. Beautiful sauce. There's maybe about 2.5 tablespoons of olive oil. Go based by what you think or what you need. That was good enough. Just enough to bring in moisture to it. Now I'm going to go ahead and set this out. And I'm going to add my chicken. And as I add the chicken, we're going to coat it. Make sure we cover our pieces in our swarma sauce. Oh, look at this, y'all. In our swarma sauce. Again, we're just going to make sure we bring this in here and get all these seasonings in here. Cover this thighs up really, really nice. Just like so. I want this beautifully marinated. You can add some whole onions if you want. I'm actually going to save mine because I'm going to be slicing some purple onions into my pita with this. So, and I don't know, I may make some purple pickled onions to go in that instead. I think that would be beautiful using some, and we'll probably just do that together. I'm going to be making some pickled onions to go in mine. We're going to be using white wine vinegar, y'all. So now I'm just going to make sure every piece of chicken is coated very well. I'm going to cover this and then we're going to stick this in the fridge and just let this sit and marry for a couple hours. You can let it even do this overnight if you really wanted to. I'm going to go ahead and get my sides down. I like to clean my bowl a little bit so that all this ingredients are down here by my chicken instead of up here wasting away on the sides. And then we're going to cover this up. Now I'm going to go stick this in the fridge like so. And we're going to get going on the pita bread in the meantime, y'all, so that we can get started for our supper, because that's going to have to sit for about an hour or two. So we'll be right back. Okay, y'all, there are several ways of making pita. Now this recipe is coming from Greece, so I am going by weight measurements, and I will include what it says here as far as I can. Now they do not have anything but, like, the flour is 375 grams or 13 ounces of all-purpose flour. So I am using the artisan bread flour that we have. The difference with this one, it has not been overly processed. It has been cold milled, and now the bran was removed from it, which makes this not very great for a diabetic. However, you can add a bran by adding fiber to help slow this down. The other thing is on this one too is it has not been bleached. So this flour has not been manipulated as bad as store-bought. So I am going to pair this with some really good fiber to help my husband out. Now that was 375 grams of flour, and I need 2 teaspoons or 7 grams of dry yeast, instant dry yeast. So I'm going to add my 2 teaspoons in this. I'm going to add the salt last, which is 8 grams or 1 teaspoon of salt. So here's my 2 teaspoons of yeast. And the only reason I'm trying this, y'all, because I want to see if I can actually get it to where it will form a pita and not try to have to cut it to make it look like a pita. I'm looking for that bubble ballooning. So I need, it says 15 grams or 1 tablespoon of sugar. Now I am not using that much sugar. I'm just making enough for this to feed the yeast. I do not want the extra sugar in this. So I have a half a tablespoon in here. Now I'm going to actually mix this together right quick. And then I'm going to add my salt in the end after I add my liquid, because that's what forms our glutens. Alright y'all, so now I'm going to actually go ahead and add my 240 grams or 240 milliliters or 8.5 ounces of lukewarm water to this. And I need about a tablespoon of olive oil as well. I'm going to go ahead and add that in this. Now it's going to be a very sticky mess until the gluten start forming. But now, after I get all of the flour incorporated together into this, I'm going to add my salt. This is when it will start forming its gluten. Right now, I am looking to hydrate all of this together. So I'm going to go ahead and get this mixed. Once I get it all mixed up and hydrated, I'm going to add the salt and then begin the kneading. Alright, now I'm just going to go ahead and start adding my salt in here. And now I'm going to knead this for 10 minutes until it forms together into a nice elastic ball. So once that gets at that point, we'll be right back. Alright, y'all. Alright, we are done. Beautiful. This dough, y'all, it's still slightly tacky, but it's gorgeous. I mean, gorgeous. It will come off of here nice and easy. It's still got moisture to it. I like this flour. I'm just going to tell you, I happen to like it. Now, I got it from Azure Standard. It's not one you're actually going to find at a grocery store. What I also like about this mix is I'm sure it'll do just as good with you with all-purpose. Yeah, see, it's still slightly tacky, but look, y'all, beautiful spring. So this is what we're looking for. Now we're going to take this and finish it, because we're going to let it rise for about 45 minutes to an hour, and I'll show you what we're going to do next. Alright, y'all, so I'm going to take my bowl, the same bowl, because I don't feel like dirtying up another one. I'm going to, well, get my dough out of here that wants to stick and hog this bowl. We're going to pour a little olive oil in here, mix this all around. Just so it doesn't, there we go, so it doesn't stick to me too. Oh, y'all, this is an amazing loaf. I'm learning a little bit about the flours, and I know I can get my mill to do this too. So alright, now I'm going to take my dough and I'm going to fold it in and create a ball out of this, make it beautiful. Then I'm going to pop it in my bowl. In here. Spread a little bit on the top. Rub it in. And now I'm going to cover this and allow it to rise for about 45 minutes to an hour. And then at that point we will be back and go from there. This is going to be a process, but it's worth it. Now I'm going to come back and give you some tips that I've been learning about getting those pillowed pitas. Okay, y'all, so my hair is drying after my shower, so it's going to be all over the place. So let's not concentrate on it. So one of the secrets that I've been learning about the pitas, and I believe it's been part of my mistakes, is my pan is not hot enough. Now there are two methods to bake in the pita breads. One is by oven with a pizza stone. you would have to have that all the way up to 500 degrees. Just saying. So the other way is using a cast iron, 12-inch cast iron skillet or a comea. Now I'm going to use my comea. I think my biggest problem, I can't get the pillow because my pan is not hot enough. They say those pans need to be at least 450 to 500 degrees as well, or it was 300 and something degrees Celsius. So I am going to try, somewhere along the line, I have a heat thermometer that it looks like a little gun type that I lost it. So I'm going to have to try to figure out how to get that temperature into my pan, but I'm going to wait till it's hot, not when it's smoking. You do not want to add no oil or nothing to this. You just want to heat your pan. So let's see if we can do this, y'all. You don't want it super, super hot where the moment that your raw dough hits the pan, it's going to burn it either. You're only going to sit this for 30 seconds each time, and you're going to keep flipping it. And I would love, the reason I am so in tuned about the pillow of a pita is if you can get that pillow or that pita to puff, when you cut it, you have a beautiful pocket. My problem is I don't get that pocket. I would get the depth, but I would have to cut it myself, and sometimes that is extremely hard to do to form a pocket. So I would like to try to do this on my own. If I don't do it this time, I'm telling y'all, I will get this. I promise. One way or another. I'll even learn to make lavish bread, which is a lot thinner, to be able to make shawarma wraps. So we got a lot of Mediterranean source breads that I'm going to try with this flour. That's why I'm really hoping that it works with my husband. However, I am not, and absolutely not, giving up my fresh milled, because my sandwich bread, I'm not using this flour. This flour is technically only used for specialty breads and possibly sourdough only. So I can do sourdough in fresh milled, but I want to try it at least one time with this artesian flour from Azure Standard. Again, it's organic, so I want to try this out, and I will definitely try it with my husband. But I'm thinking, from what I've understood and by all of my studies, one of the biggest key factor to slowing down a sugar spike is fiber. And the secondary resources are cinnamon and lemon. These, what I have been studying for the past 3 years, since my husband was diagnosed, it's going on 3 years now. And this seems to be working. I have, I mean, honestly, my husband one time, and the reason I'm trying this, because let's be honest, he had an opportunity one time. We went out to a taco joint and he wanted a burrito. You can't tell him no. The burrito, technically though, was made with enriched flour, which is store-bought flour. The only difference that he did was he did not order the rice in it. He had the rice removed from that burrito, but the beans stayed put, and it did not spike him. So my thing is, I believe that that fiber is very key. Now here is one thing that can be done. If he actually would eat it, I would, but he won't, because he's still that countryman. But for those of you who are like me with the Mediterranean, another good way, and if you want to watch your sugars, to pair a pita with would be falafels. Falafel is a chickpea. The chickpea mix would absolutely allow you to slow down your sugar spike. So these are type of things I'm looking at. Another thing you can do is make some hummus. Use it as a spread inside your pita, or technically use your pita to dip in your hummus. Add a little bit of lemon, some olive oil. Oh yeah, y'all. It's amazing. These are tips, and I'm hoping this helps you. So what I am going to do is be adding some fiber into our shawarma so that it helps my husband. Now, one of the good sources of fiber, lettuce Head lettuce is dead. There is no nutrients, there is no fiber, there is absolutely nothing in head lettuce. However, the spring salad mix between the spinach that's in it, there's Swiss chard in it, these type of lettuce add fiber, and that is going to be one of my sources. We have tomato that's going in it, onion, which that's really not a fiber, but I can also choose to add hummus in there as a spread for him as well. So there will be some fiber sources, and then we have the flavoring of lemon into our chicken shawarma. So all of these are going to help combat that sugar spike for my husband so that we can try this bread. I will have him tested tonight. He's not going to like me, but he loves me. He'll do it. So I'm going to have him test it and see how this works. So we'll see when I get my next video out after this. I'll let y'all know how much it worked. In the meantime, we're going to let this rise, and I am waiting for my shawarma. That should be done. This is going to be a long video, y'all, but the amazingness out of everything when it's done is going to be awesome. So bear with us, because we got some beautiful work occasionally. Once in a while, I will make a video like this because I do believe it helps somebody. And when it comes to eating healthier, I have resources, and I have been waiting to eat better again because frankly, I feel awful when I don't. So let me wait for my shawarma. In the meantime, we're letting this rise, and we'll get back to work. Okay, y'all, so the next thing I'm going to do is show you how to do the Mediterranean pickled onion. So we're going to take it we're going to cut it in half. We're going to use a large red onion, and we're going to thin slice these halves. Just like this. I mean, like thin slices. You can use a mandolin if you want to. Honestly, that's probably one of my choices. I would have done two right now, but I've already started doing this, so that's what we're going to do and finish it. Once I get this finished, I'm going to show you. I am actually going to use this jar. I think it would look beautiful in here, and I'm going to store this in my refrigerator. It will store in a nice tight sealed container for about a week, and I'll be using it before that. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish this, and then we're going to make our brine. So we'll be right back, y'all. All right, y'all. So, and this recipe comes from the Mediterranean cookbooks that I have. So this is authentic, and I love it. Now, there's our sliced onion. I need a ½ cup of red wine vinegar. However, I notice this while I'm getting this, I am not going to get exactly a ½ cup out of this. That would be a miracle. I knew I wasn't. I can pretty much look at things anymore and know I've got 3/4 of a cup, basically. So now I'm going to have to improvise, and I'm going to literally improvise with white wine vinegar. It's just enough to finish it off. I didn't even have 3/4, so. And that's it. Now I'm going to add that to my pickled onions. I need to get some, y'all. That was the last of my red onions. So now I need 3 tablespoons of sumac. Sumac is that one seasoning that gives it kind of a pucker flavor. So I need 3 tablespoons of that added to this. And I am going to be using this in my shawarmas. 1, 2, and 3. I need a tablespoon of kosher salt. And we need 2 tablespoons of finely parsley. Now, I'm not actually going to add that right now. I'm going to let this sit aside in the jar for a little while, and we're going to let this marinade. So we're going to mix this all together and make sure everything is coated and melted pretty much, or dissolved into this briny vinegar, like so. Now I am going to set this aside, let this sit for a little bit before we put it in our jar, and then we're going to put it up. Now I may just go out there and see if I have some parsley that's still pliable to use. If not, I can use dried. So I'm just going to set this aside, and this will be ready to be used later on as well. So we'll be back. Alright, y'all. So our shawarma has been sitting marinating in the refrigerator. We have our onions over here that's been marinating. They're almost finished. And we have our pita rising, and it's almost ready to start working with. In the meantime, we're going to get our shawarma. Oh, this smells good. Amazing. Amazing. So we're going to get our shawarma ready to be put in a pan. Now, I'm actually going to do this differently until I get my spit, basically. This is going in one of my baking pans. And what I'm going to end up doing is, you can use a regular bread pan. I'm going to use my Pullman because frankly that's what I have right now. And I will clean it out after the fact. I'm going to put some olive oil in here so it doesn't stick too well. Plus there's olive oil in it. All the flavoring is going inside of our pan anyways. So I'm going to get a piece of paper towel right quick. Alright, y'all. Go ahead and do this. Now we're going to drop our pieces of chicken shawarma into our pan. And we're going to build it up like we would on a spit, only this is a flat surface. So this is going down here. We're just going to layer on top of it because we're going to make a loaf. By the time it cooks, it will infuse as a loaf as well. I'm just going to, just like so. Can you see this, y'all? Let me move this over here. So I put my first piece down here. I put my second piece on here, so it's forming this loaf effect. I'm going to take my next piece, which is a nice sticker in the back side of it. I'm going to lay that on top right over here. Brush it down some, because we're going to slice this after it's been done. Now it's not going to come out perfectly sliced like you would meatloaf, but we're going to get smaller pieces than big old chunks for this. And then I got one more piece right here. We're going to lay this on the very top. I'm going to put this fatty part in the back because I want to try to even this as much as I can. Now when I get the spit to put in the oven or on the grill, it's just going to sit on top of each other like so. But this is what I have for now. I didn't even know, honestly, I could do this, y'all. Now this is going to sit in the oven for about 45 minutes to an hour, or until the internal temp comes to 165 degrees. At that point, you want to go toward the center, because, well, all over it. You want to make sure that those stacks are cooked all the way through. Now I'm just taking, sorry, I know this big old bowl is in your way. I'm just actually taking my ingredients in here, and I'm going to spread this all over it. Now I will say, as far as this goes, I'm not going to get that beautiful char if it were, unless it was in the grill or in the oven where I can marinate it. So it's not going to get that amazing looking char. One day I will do that on the grill instead. But in the meantime, we're set. Our oven is preheated at 400 degrees. In goes our shawarma. And next we're going to work on our pita while this is baking. Alright, y'all. We'll work on our pita in just a minute. Right now we're going to take our marinated onions and stick this in our jar, and we're going to cover it and refrigerate it. And yes, I did just wash this, so because I know chicken was on it, so I know better than to do that, y'all. I'm just going to go ahead and line my onions up inside of my jar, and we're going to pour our juice over the top of this. Now basically, the onions got slightly softened due to the vinegar. And like I said, you can add parsley to this if you wanted to as well. I might just add my parsley though when I make my dishes with it, because you can put this topped on salads, in like we're doing our pitas. All right. I might have to get a spatula now, because I'm going to pour this sauce in here too, all over the top of this. We want to cover our onions with it basically. Ooh, am I going to have enough room, y'all? I had a bigger jar, but it was actually too big. So let's see, can we get this in here? I might be pushing my luck here. Yep, I might be pushing my luck. Let's see, y'all. I might really be pushing my luck. Yeah, I am. All right. Okay, y'all. So there is our beautiful onions. Now we're going to go set this in the fridge. This I'm just going to snack on. I mean, it ain't going to hurt nothing. So it was too much for my jar. But it's not a bad thing. So we'll be right back, y'all. Word of advice. Don't snack on the onions. Sorry, I had to get something to drink. That was a little bit too pucker power for snacking, y'all. Great to mix with something. Just don't snack on the onions alone unless you love a major pucker. Okay, y'all. We are going to work on getting our pitas made up. We still got to go through a process with it. So I'm first going to go ahead and take my flour, and we're going to make a small, I'm not wanting to use too much flour, because I'm going to break these down into 8 pieces basically, and they're going to be about 80 grams a piece. So I'm going to, oh hey, look at that big old bubble. Wow, these are going to be nice, y'all. Alright, so I'm going to cut these down into 80 grams. Yep, there it is. Basically, we'll just do this here. Yeah, I think this is going to work. Alrighty then. This can be annoying. Alright, there's 80. I'm just going to take this, wrap this up in a ball, like so. On my pan. Same with this piece here. See what that one is. Yep. Gonna add to it. And so I'm gonna go ahead and make these balls out, y'all, and show you what I'm gonna do next once we get this done. Alright, y'all, there's our 8 pitas. Now we're just gonna let this sit here for a few minutes, for 10 minutes, let this rest, and then we're gonna roll them out. Alright, y'all, now it's time to roll out our dough. Now I'm going to give these a place to sit while I have this whole room. So I'm going to lightly dust my plate and pop my dough on here, and then we're going to cover it, set it aside while we set up our pan here, or our place here. And I'm going to leave that one on there because we're going to roll it. Alright, so let me go set this somewhere at the moment. Cover these up so none of them dry out. We'll be right back. Alright, y'all, here we go. So we need approximately 6-inch pitas. Now these are going to sit again And the reason for that is we're making kind of like a nice airy based pitas so that we give it a better chance to puff up and everything. So I'm just going to go ahead, lightly flour this, and we're going to roll these out just like so. And then now, after these are rolled out, they're going to sit on a pan covered, damp cloth, and covered on top of that to hold the moisture in for 30 minutes. And that's going to help them rise a little bit. Not a lot of people have done this, but I do know that in the Mediterranean, I've watched them do this step. So it doesn't hurt to try, right? So I've tried everything else. Let me try this one. Y'all, so now we have our pita. Now they do pitas in rounds, or they do pitas in basically oval shapes. I've seen them many different ways. The Turkish do their pitas in a nice oval. It's kind of nice looking. Now we're going to take our pita, put it on our pan right here. We're going to leave this sit. Finish off the rest of them, and then we'll be right back. Alright, y'all, we're working on our last and final pita. Measuring this one out to about almost 6 inches, and then I'm going to put them all. I have 2 pans because we have 8 and they didn't all fit in one pan for me. So here is our pitas. They're going to sit on my pans. Now I'm going to take them and show you what we're going to do. Get this out of the way. Let me go ahead and get my damp cloths ready, and we'll be right back. Alright, y'all. So now I'm just going to cover these up. Now this one tea towel looks like it's big enough to cover, oh yeah, both pans. We're just trying to keep them from getting dried out. And now I'm going to take another dry towel on the top of them at this moment. And we're just going to let these sit for 30 minutes. They will start puffing up a little bit, which is okay. So I'm going to go ahead and set my timer for 30 minutes. And we'll be back. Alright, y'all, so our chicken swarma is finished. Now I will say I will be really glad to get the spit. This did come out loose, no big deal. I'll just cut it up in pieces. Look how beautiful this is. We do absolutely have our internal temp. I'm saving the juices, and this did get the nice golden color on the outside. So I'm ready. I'm gonna let this cool off, and then let's wait for our pitas. Alright, y'all, we got about 15 minutes left on our pitas, so I'm gonna go ahead and start slowly bringing our pan up to heat. Remember, I do not want to get this to smoke point, but I do want to get this kamal hot. So if it was in the oven, it would be set at 500 degrees in the oven with either a pizza stone or a cast iron skillet. So I'm going to do the same thing here. I did find my meter, y'all, and we will test our pan by how much it is here. So we will be back. All right, y'all, so let's check this out. The pan is sitting at 254 degrees Fahrenheit. So, and we've got a minute and 45 seconds left. So I'm gonna go ahead and let that finish out. At that point, this should be hot enough. Yeah, it's 475, so it'll be hot enough for us to go ahead and start our pitas, at least with the big pans. Alright, y'all. So 30 minutes has been up. 471. That's close enough, y'all. So let's go ahead and see how this will do, at least for one of our pitas. I'm hoping that this will work. Go ahead and set this out. 30 seconds on the clock. And then we start to flip. What we're looking also for is bubbles to start forming, just like that. That's it. Yes, y'all. I just might get my pitas. Do you see this bubble right here? Once we start getting that, we're going to flip this bad boy over, and we're going to see if 471 or 475 is hot enough, or does it have to be 500? See, we're still getting more bubbles coming. I'm going to come in from behind here, flip this over, and see if we can get it to work. And now I'm just going to flip this back and forth, y'all, and see if we can't get our pillow. I'm really, really hoping we can. We need to cover this. Alright, y'all, let me see what happens here in a minute. Alright, y'all, that first one didn't. It is fluffy enough to cut it, so I am going to wait until this pan heats up even more. So the heat is key factor, y'all. Definitely is key factor. So I need to get this pan up to 500, and we'll try this again. Although I would wait till it was cooler. These are fluffy enough, y'all, to make a pita pocket. So these are good potential recipes to do this. Now I did have to cut this because this is what it looked like. But see the space in there? It was able to cut to make this. And I do have a beautiful fluffy pocket. We're going to go ahead and put this one back in here. And we're going to be able to have some pitas tonight, y'all. So swarmas will be good. Alright, let's get this bad boy up to heat and try this again. Let's see where we're at. 501. Let's try it, y'all. I guess I'll do this with you and see how it works. Go ahead and get this bad boy right there on our pan. Wait 30 seconds. I hit my timer. Watch and see what this does. It's starting to form bubbles a whole lot better than it did the first time. And there is no grease on here. You do not want to get it greased because it will cause it to smoke, y'all. So yeah, just do not do that. You don't actually need it. As you've seen, I was able to flip it. Come on, bad boy. Turn this over. Let's see if we can get that pillow. Come on. Yeah, it looks like it's trying to. They say the oven is better, and I can understand why. It does make it a bit harder on these pans, especially where that bubble was in the middle. But it's working at it. Trying to. Now it did a whole lot better this time since the pan was hot enough. So the pan does make a difference, y'all. I mean, I got a bubble right here, but let's see if we can get it to bubble up even more here. Like I said, I'm working on getting this, y'all. I really am. But these are fluffy enough that I can actually cut into them a whole lot better. So, yeah, we'll just do it that way. I guess whatever doesn't do this, I can just cut into them. At least I got something to cut into this time. So, I'm just going to go ahead, y'all, and finish the rest of these, and we'll be back. Alright, y'all, I just wanted to show this to you. They're not perfect, but I'm getting a lot closer to getting that pillow I'm looking for. So this is going to work. I just got to figure out if it's the heat or the method that I'm doing. But this is a lot closer. So these will be able to be cut. We will have pita bread. Actual pita bread this time. So, next step is just making the sandwiches, y'all. Alright, y'all, let's cut our chicken swarma into pieces or slices. Like I said, this didn't come out the way it should, but this will be enough that we can cut. This is so moist. Oh my gosh, y'all. You see this falling apart? This is amazing. And just cutting it up in pieces like it would have come off the spit like that. And then we're going to stick it in our bowl, top it with our stuff, and then this will be ready for our pitas. I'm just putting everything together while I wait for Mr. James now to come home, because all the hard part's done, y'all. Now it's just preparing our meal and getting us ready to eat. So I'm gonna go ahead, finish this up, and then I'll show you what we have for our shawarmas, y'all. Y'all, I gotta show this to you. So I was sitting here cutting some of my pitas. Look, look, look at the pockets, y'all. This is amazing. And some of this I didn't really have to cut. Now I did do some of them. What I want to show you is, I'm here to tell you, if you were to make this homemade pita, you will never buy store-bought again. Let me manipulate this thing and show you what it does. Now this would make beautiful gyros or yirdo bread as well. I mean, look, y'all, look, look. This is amazing pita. I love this recipe. I really, really love this recipe. So, is it worth it? Yep, sure is. I'll be making some of these and freezing them, because they will also heat up very, very well to use sparingly. I can even make these ahead of time, fry them up, and make some pita chips out of this. I definitely like this recipe. Okay, y'all, so let's put our pita together. Now I'm going to take one pita, which is cut in two. The rest of these I can literally take and put them in the freezer or put them in the fridge. I can leave them out for a little while too. That one kind of blew out on me, but that's okay. So I'm actually going to start with some hummus, and I'm using garlic based hummus. I'm going to spread this. Hang on a minute, y'all. Alright, sorry about that, y'all. So I spread it with my hummus. I'm going to come in with some tzatziki sauce on top of that, just like so. Add some of my swarma into this, and it goes into my pita. A little bit more. Now I'm going to come in on my sides with some sliced thin cucumbers. We're on the side of this, just like so. Come in also with, hang on a second and get something to grab this with, some of our pickled onions that we made today, just like so. A tomato. This other side, I got too many there. And then I'm going to top it with a little bit of arugula over here on the side, and some lettuce. So here's my arugula, and then come in with my spring mix right here, which has got spinach, it's got different types of lettuce, and that's it, y'all. There is my big, beautiful, oh, gee, shawarma. Y'all, these are amazing. I will put the recipe in the description box below. Give this recipe a try. Now, whether it popped up or not, I still was able to make some beautiful pita out of this. So I will definitely give you the recipe, y'all. This is amazing. I've not tried it yet, but I could tell just by the softness. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, it's got a nice chewy texture to it. It holds up quite well, and very pliable, and definitely the pita recipe to go for. So look for it in the description box, y'all. Now we're gonna go ahead and eat. So I'm gonna sign off for tonight, y'all. And until next time, I love you. I hope you really like this recipe, and I hope you enjoyed spending this day with me, because this turned out to be an amazing meal. So until next time, much, much love. Mwah, from Parton's Mediterranean Homestead. See y'all.